Do-hyun opened his eyes slowly. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. The last thing he remembered was falling asleep in his small Seoul apartment after working late on computer code. He always slept naked because his room got too hot. But now he was not in his bed. He was floating in some kind of thick liquid inside a glass tube. The liquid felt warm and helped him breathe somehow. Do-hyun's heart began to race. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy and slow. Through the clear walls of the tube, he could see other tubes just like his. Each one had a person inside, floating like him. They all looked asleep. Beyond the tubes, he saw creatures that made his blood run cold. They were not human. The creatures had 4 arms and big eyes that looked like they belonged on an insect. Their skin was gray and smooth. They wore tight suits that glowed with soft blue light. They moved around the room, looking at screens that floated in the air. Do-hyun realized the truth hit him like a punch to the stomach. He had been taken, stolen from his bed. He was on some kind of alien ship. He started hitting the glass wall of his tube. His fists moved slowly through the thick liquid, but he kept trying. The aliens turned to look at him. They seemed surprised. One of them rushed to a control panel and touched it with its long fingers. The liquid in Do-hyun's tube began to drain away. He fell to the bottom of the tube, coughing and gasping. The glass wall opened with a soft hiss. Cold air rushed in and he shivered. He was still completely naked. 2 aliens grabbed him with their multiple arms. Their touch felt cold and strange. They dragged him out of the tube and across the smooth metal floor. Do-hyun tried to fight, but he felt weak. They pushed him into a small white room and the door closed behind him. A pile of gray cloth sat in the corner. Do-hyun grabbed it and found it was some kind of simple suit. He put it on quickly. His hand shook as he pulled the strange fabric over his skin. At least he was covered now. The door opened again. This time the aliens pushed 4 more people into the room. 2 women and 2 men. All of them wore the same gray suits. All of them looked scared and confused. "What's happening?" one of the women asked in Korean. She had short hair and looked like she might be a few years younger than Do-hyun. "Where are we?" "I think we've been taken by aliens," Do-hyun said. His voice sounded strange in his own ears. "I woke up in a tube out there." "Me too," said one of the men. He was older, maybe in his 50s, with gray hair and strong shoulders. "I'm Junho. I was sleeping in my house in Daegu." The woman with short hair said, "I'm Minji. I'm a doctor from Busan. This doesn't make sense." "None of this makes sense." The other woman was younger, maybe a college student. "I'm Hiran," she said quietly. "I was in my dorm room." The last man spoke up. "Taeyang. I was on a research boat studying fish in the ocean." "How did they take me from the middle of the sea?" Before anyone could answer, a screen appeared on the wall. It showed one of the aliens. The creature's mouth did not move, but they heard words in their heads. The voice was flat and cold. "You are aboard a Veltari collection vessel. Your species has been marked for study and labor assignment. You will be processed at our facility. Do not resist. Resistance is pointless. Collection vessel," Minji said. "They're collecting people? Like we're animals?" The screen changed. It showed Earth from space. Then it showed the inside of houses, bedrooms, people sleeping. The view moved through walls like they were not even there. Do-hyun saw his own apartment on the screen. He saw himself sleeping in his bed. "They can see through walls," Hiran whispered. "They've been watching us." The alien voice continued in their heads. "Your planet has been observed for many cycles. Your technology level marks you as Category 7 life forms, barely sentient, low threat, suitable for collection. 200 of your kind are aboard this vessel. 15 vessels in total have collected 50,000 humans. 50,000. Hunyo's face turned red with anger. "You've stolen 50,000 people from Earth?" The screen showed the alien again. Its big eyes seemed to study them. "You should not be conscious. Your species should remain in stasis until processing. You are anomalies." "This is concerning." The screen went dark. The 5 humans stood in silence for a moment. Then Junho walked to the door and tried to open it. It would not move. "We're locked in," he said. "We need to figure out what's happening and how to get out of here." Do-hyun moved to the wall where the screen had been. He ran his hands over the smooth surface. His fingers found tiny bumps and lines. "This is some kind of interface," he said. "I work with computers. This looks like a control panel, but more advanced than anything we have on Earth." Minji sat down on the floor. She looked at the others. Why are we awake when everyone else is sleeping? What makes us different? Maybe their sleep technology doesn't work perfectly on everyone, Taeyang suggested. Or maybe some humans are resistant to it. Hiran moved to another wall. She found marks and symbols written there. Look at this. It's their language. If we can understand it, maybe we can learn more about them. The door suddenly opened again. 3 aliens entered the room. They carried strange tools that glowed with red light. Weapons, Do-hyun thought. These are weapons. One alien pointed at Do-hyun. The voice came into his head again. You. Come. The commander will speak with you. Junho stepped forward. No. If you want to talk to one of us, you talk to all of us. We stay together. The aliens looked at each other. They seemed confused. Finally, one of them touched a device on its arm. After a moment, it responded. Acceptable. All anomalies will meet the commander. They were led down long hallways. The walls glowed with soft light. Other aliens watched them pass. Some stopped what they were doing to stare. Do-hyun noticed something important. The aliens looked nervous, maybe even scared. Good, he thought. They should be scared. They entered a large room. A bigger alien sat in a chair that floated in the air. This one wore a suit with more decorations. The commander studied them with its huge eyes. When it spoke, the voice in their head sounded different, stronger. I am Kilteth, commander of this vessel. You are the first Category 7 species to resist our collection methods. Explain how you remain conscious, Junho smiled. It was not a friendly smile. You called us Category 7, barely sentient. Low threat. You judged us by our machines and our buildings. That was your first mistake. Mistake? Kilteth's head tilted. Your species has primitive technology. You cannot even leave your own star system. You are clearly inferior. Do-hyun felt anger rise in his chest, but he also felt something else. Hope. These aliens had made an assumption. They thought humans were weak and stupid because human technology was not as advanced. They had never considered that humans might be dangerous in other ways. Minji spoke up. You measured our worth by our tools. But tools are not the same as intelligence, or determination, or creativity. Kilteth seemed to think about this. It does not matter. You are 5. We are many. Your world does not know you are missing. You will be processed with the others. The aliens led them back to the White Room. The door locked again. But something had changed. The 5 humans looked at each other and they all understood the same thing. The aliens had made a mistake. A big one. They had underestimated humanity, and now Do-hyun and the others had information. They knew they were not alone. 200 humans were on this ship. 50,000 total had been taken. We need to wake the others, Do-hyun said quietly. And then we need to take this ship. The others stared at him. Then one by one they nodded. They were naked when they were taken, helpless, sleeping, but they were awake now, and they were going to fight back. The 5 humans spent hours in the White Room. They talked quietly, sharing information about themselves. Do-hyun learned that Junho had been in the military for 20 years. Minji had worked in emergency rooms and knew how to stay calm under pressure. Taeyang understood biology and systems. Hiran was studying languages at university. Each person brought something useful. We need to see the other humans, Minji said. If they're all in those tubes, they might be in danger. We don't know what that liquid does to the body over time, Junho agreed. And we need to understand this ship. Where are we going? How long until we get there? What do they plan to do with us? Do-hyun stood up and walked to the wall. He pressed his hands against it, feeling for the bumps and lines he had noticed before. These aliens use technology everywhere. Their whole ship is one big computer. If I can understand how it works, maybe I can access it. Can you do that? Hiran asked. I don't know, Do-hyun admitted, but I have to try. He closed his eyes and felt the patterns under his fingers. After a few minutes, something clicked. A small panel opened in the wall. Inside were symbols and lights. Do-hyun studied them carefully. They were not random. They followed patterns, logic, like computer code but different. He pressed one symbol. Nothing happened. He tried another combination. The lights changed color. Be careful, Taeyang warned. You might set off an alarm. Maybe that's what we want, Do-hyun said. He pressed more symbols. Suddenly, the door to their room opened. The 5 humans looked at each other. Then they walked out carefully. The hallway was empty. They moved quietly, staying close together. Unyo led the way. His military training showed in how he checked each corner before they moved forward. They found the room with the tubes. It was huge. Rows and rows of glass tubes stretched out before them. Each one held a sleeping human. Men, women, old, young. All floating in that strange liquid. Minji rushed to the nearest tube. She looked at the person inside, checking for signs of life. "They're alive," she said. Heart rate is slow but steady. "They're breathing. The liquid must provide oxygen somehow. Can we wake them?" Junyo asked. "I don't know how," Minji said. "We need to find the controls." Do-hyun was already moving along the wall looking for another panel. He found one near the center of the room. This one was bigger with more symbols and lights. He studied it carefully. "There are patterns here," he said. "Groups of 3 symbols repeat. Maybe they represent each tube. If I can figure out which symbols control the liquid and which control the sedation." He worked for several minutes. The others watched the doors, expecting aliens to arrive at any moment. But no one came. Finally, Do-hyun pressed a sequence of symbols. One tube began to drain. The liquid disappeared and the glass opened. A young woman fell out coughing and gasping. Minji caught her and helped her sit down. "Where am I?" the woman asked in Korean. Her eyes were wide with fear. "You're safe for now," Minji said gently. "We're on an alien ship. We were all taken from Earth. What's your name?" "Sora," the woman said. She looked around at the tubes. "Are all these people from Earth too?" "Yes," Junho said. 200 on this ship. We need to wake them all. But we have to be smart about it. If we wake everyone at once, the aliens will know immediately." Do-hyun nodded. "We wake a few at a time. We teach them to stay quiet and pretend they're still asleep if aliens come. We organize slowly." Over the next few hours, they woke 20 more people. Each time, Minji explained the situation. Some people panicked. Others got angry. But Junho knew how to calm people and give them purpose. He organized them into small groups. Some would watch the doors. Others would help wake more people. Others would explore the ship. Sora turned out to be very useful. She played video games and understood systems and patterns. She helped Do-hyun work on the control panels faster. "This is like a game interface," she said, pointing at the symbols. "See how they're grouped? That's like a menu system, and these symbols that glow brighter are active functions." Together, they learned more about the alien technology. It was advanced, but it followed rules. The aliens never expected anyone to try to hack their systems. There were no security measures. No passwords, no locks. Why would there be? They only collected primitive species. Taeyang made another discovery. He found a room with plants and water systems. "They're growing food here," he said. "But look at the temperature controls. They keep everything very specific. I think these aliens are fragile. They need exact conditions to survive." "That's useful to know," Junho said. His eyes had a calculating look. "If we can control the environment, we can control where the aliens can go." Hyerin found a room with screens showing information. She could not read most of it, but she took pictures with a device she found. "Their written language has patterns," she said. "Some symbols appear more often than others. That usually means common words. If I can figure out the common words, I can start to translate." Days passed. The aliens only checked on them once each day, bringing food and water to the white room where they pretended to still be locked up. The rest of the time they moved through the ship in small groups, careful to avoid the aliens. More humans woke up. 50. Then 80. Then 100. They all learned to play dead when aliens were near. The Veltari never suspected. Do-hyun found the ship's computer core. It was a massive room filled with glowing crystals and flowing light. He spent hours there with Sora, learning how the ship worked. They discovered something terrible. "This ship is going to a station," Do-hyun explained to the others. "A processing station. That's where they sort the humans. Some will be sold as workers, some as servants, some as subjects for experiments." "Sold?" Minji's face went pale. "They're going to sell us like slaves?" "That's their plan," Do-hyun said. "And it's not just us. They've done this before. To other species. For hundreds of years. The Veltari are collectors. They find primitive worlds and take people. The rest of the galaxy knows, but they don't stop it because the Veltari are powerful." Junho's hands formed into fists. "When do we arrive at this station?" 5 days, Sora said quietly. "Then we have 5 days to take this ship," Junho said. 5 days to save everyone. 5 days to show these aliens what humans can really do." That night they held a meeting. All 100 woken humans gathered in the tube room while the others stayed in stasis. Do-hyun explained the situation. "We have a choice," he said. "We can wait and hope someone rescues us. Or we can fight. But if we fight, some of us might die. This is dangerous." An old man stood up. "I'm 70 years old. I've lived my life. But these young people deserve to go home. I say we fight." A young mother with tears in her eyes said, "My children are on Earth. They need their mother. I'll do whatever it takes." One by one, people agreed. They would fight. They would take the ship. They would save themselves and everyone else the Veltari had taken. Junho organized them into teams. Some would take the bridge. Some would take the engine room. Some would secure the aliens and lock them up. Minji's team would wake the remaining humans. Do-hyun and Sora would control the ship's systems. They spent the next 3 days preparing. They found tools they could use as weapons. They mapped every hallway. They learned the aliens' schedule and routines. They discovered that there were only 30 Veltari on the ship. 30 aliens against 200 humans. The aliens had made another mistake. They thought humans were weak and stupid. They thought the sedation would keep them asleep. They never imagined humans could wake up, work together, and plan. They never imagined humans could learn their technology in just a few days. On the 4th day, Kilteth called Do-hyun to the command room again. The alien wanted to ask more questions about why the humans had woken up. Do-hyun stood before the commander. He looked at the floating chair and the glowing screens. He thought about his apartment in Seoul, his computer, his normal life, all taken from him while he slept naked and helpless. "Your species is strange," Kilteth said. "We have collected many species. None have shown your resistance. Perhaps we should study you more carefully." Do-hyun smiled. "You should have studied us before you took us. You looked at our technology and thought you understood us, but you missed the important parts." "What parts?" Kilteth asked. "Humans don't just build tools. We are tools. We adapt, we learn, we work together, and most importantly, we don't give up. Ever. You thought taking us while we were asleep made us helpless, but all you did was make us angry." Kilteth stared at him. "You speak as if you have power here." "You do not. You are prisoner, am I?" Do-hyun asked. Then he pressed a button on his gray suit. It was a signal. All over the ship, humans moved at once. They had been waiting for this moment. The uprising began. The moment Do-hyun pressed the button, everything changed. Junho's team burst into the bridge where Kilteth stood. They carried metal pipes and tools taken from maintenance areas. The Veltari guards reached for their weapons, but they were too slow. Humans moved fast when they needed to. 3 humans tackled each guard. The aliens struggled with their 4 arms, but humans were stronger, heavier, built for fighting and surviving. The guards went down quickly. Kilteth tried to activate an alarm, but Do-hyun was already at the control panel. He pressed the symbols he and Sora had memorized. The alarm system shut down. All over the ship, doors locked, trapping most of the Veltari in their quarters. "You cannot do this," Kilteth said, his mental voice filled with shock. "This is impossible. You are primitives." "We're primitives who just took your ship," Junho said. He pointed a Veltari energy weapon at the commander. He had learned how to use it from watching the guards. "Order your crew to surrender." Kilteth's big eyes looked at the weapon, then at the humans surrounding him. "If you kill us, you will drift in space forever. You cannot operate this vessel." Do-hyun laughed. "Want to bet?" He touched the control panel. The main screen lit up, showing a star map. He dragged his finger across it and the ship changed course. The movement was smooth and perfect. Kilteth's face showed something humans had not seen before. Fear. "How?" the commander whispered. "Our systems are protected. They require Veltari genetic signatures to operate." Sora stepped forward. She held up her hand. Her palm was covered with a thin layer of something clear and sticky. "Genetic signatures? You mean like skin cells? We've been collecting those for days. Every time your crew touched a panel, they left traces. We just had to figure out how to use them. It had been Taeyang's idea. He understood biology and he knew that the Veltari touched their controls with their hands. Hands left traces. With the right material, those traces could be copied. They had used the sticky substance from the tubes mixed with samples they collected. In the tube room, Minji worked fast. She and her team were waking everyone now. No more hiding. No more pretending. The gray suits were passed out quickly. People were confused and scared, but Minji's calm voice helped. "Stay together. Follow instructions. We're taking control of this ship. You're going to be okay. Some people cried. Others asked questions. But they all listened. They all helped each other. That was what humans did. Even strangers became a team when survival was on the line. In the engine room, Taeyang made his move. He had studied the ship's systems carefully. The engines used a type of energy that was stable under specific conditions. Change those conditions and the engines would shut down safely. It was a backup system meant to prevent explosions. He adjusted the temperature controls. The engine room began to heat up. The Veltari engineer inside ran for the door, but it was locked. He pounded on it with all four arms. Taeyang watched through a window. When the temperature reached the right level, the engines automatically shut down to protect themselves. The ship stopped moving. They were now floating in empty space. No one could go anywhere. Not the humans and not the Veltari. Throughout the ship, humans secured areas one by one. The medical bay, the food storage, the water systems. Every important location, they found the Veltari crew and locked them in their own quarters. The aliens could not understand what was happening. They had captured primitives. Stupid animals. How were they losing? In the communications room, Hyerin worked with two other humans who knew electronics. They had found the ship's long-range transmitter. Hyerin had spent days studying the Veltari language. She could not read everything, but she knew enough. "Can you send a message to the other ships?" one of her helpers asked. "I think so," Hyerin said. Her fingers moved over the controls. "The question is, what do we send?" Tohyun's voice came through a speaker they had activated. He was still on the bridge. "Send a virus. Something that will wake up the humans on the other ships. If we can do it, they can too." Hyerin smiled. "A virus, yes, these systems are all connected. They update from each other. If I hide a wake-up command inside a normal update message..." She worked for an hour. The other humans brought her food and water. She did not stop. Finally, she had it. A piece of code that looked like a normal system update, but hidden inside was a command. It would tell all the stasis tubes to drain and open. She sent it to the nearest ship. Then she waited. 10 minutes passed. 15. Then a message came back. It was not from Veltari. It was in Korean. "This is the ship called Collector 7. The humans here are awake. We're taking control. Thank you. Who are you?" Hyerin laughed. She sent back, "We're the ship called Collector 3. We've already taken control. Send this message to the other ships. Wake everyone up. Fight back. Humans don't make good slaves." One by one, ships in the fleet began to report. Humans were waking up. Humans were fighting. The Veltari fleet was falling apart from the inside. On the bridge of Collector 3, Kilteth sat in his floating chair. His hands were tied with cables. Yunyo stood guard. Dohyun controlled the ship's systems. More humans arrived to help. They were no longer scared. They were angry, determined. "What will you do now?" Kilteth asked. "You have 15 ships. But there are hundreds of Veltari vessels in our empire, thousands. You cannot fight us all." "Maybe not," Junho said. "But we can free everyone you've captured. And we can make sure you never do this again." Dohyun pulled up information on the screen. He had found files deep in the ship's computer. Records of every species the Veltari had collected. Thousands of worlds, millions of beings. All taken while they were vulnerable. All sold or studied or used. "This ends," Dohyun said quietly. "All of it ends." Minji entered the bridge. She looked tired, but her eyes were bright. "All 200 humans are awake and safe. We have medical supplies. Everyone is healthy. No one was permanently hurt by the stasis." "Good," Junho said. "Now we need to decide what to do next. We have control of this ship. Other humans have control of their ships. But Kilteth is right. The Veltari Empire is huge. If we try to go home, they'll follow us. They'll come to Earth." The humans looked at each other. They had been thinking about going home. About seeing their families, their friends, their normal lives. But if they led the Veltari to Earth, millions more could be taken. A young man spoke up. His name was Quan. He had been a teacher before being taken. "Then we don't go home yet. We finish this first. We find where they keep the other prisoners. We free them. And we make sure the Veltari can't do this to anyone else." "That could take months," Minji said. "Our families will think we're dead." "Maybe," Quan said. "But if we go back now and the Veltari follow us, our families really will die. Millions of people could be taken. Earth doesn't have the technology to fight back. We do, we have their ships. We know how their systems work. We're the only ones who can stop this. Silence filled the bridge. Then slowly people began to nod. Dohyun felt a weight settle on his shoulders. He was just a software engineer. He had never wanted to be a leader. He had just wanted to code and sleep and live his quiet life. But that life was gone. Taken from him while he slept naked and helpless. Now he had a choice. Run home and hope for the best. Or stand and fight, we vote, he said. Democracy. That's what makes us different from them. Everyone gets a say. They called a meeting. All 200 humans on Collector 3 gathered in the largest room. Dohyun explained the situation. Go home now and risk leading the enemy to Earth. Or stay and fight to end the Veltari slave trade forever. The vote was close. 90 people wanted to go home. 110 wanted to stay and fight. The decision was made. Junho stepped forward. For those who voted to go home, I understand. You miss your families. You want your lives back. But we need everyone. If even one person doesn't want to fight, they'll slow us down. So I'm asking, will you stay and help? Will you fight for the people who can't fight for themselves? The 90 people looked at each other. Then one by one they raised their hands. They would stay. They would fight. Sora accessed the ship's communication logs. She found something important. The fleet commander is on a ship called Collector 1. He's been trying to contact all the ships. He knows something is wrong. Let him know, Dohyun said. Send him a message. Tell him humans have taken his fleet. Tell him we're coming for everyone he's ever captured. Tell him the slaves are now the masters. Hiren wrote the message. She made sure it was clear and strong. She sent it on all channels so every Veltari ship could hear it. This is humanity. You took us from our homes while we slept. You thought we were weak. You thought we would be easy to control. You were wrong. We have your ships. We have your technology. And we're coming to free everyone you've ever taken. The Veltari Empire's days of taking people are over. The message sent. Then they waited. 5 minutes later, a response came. The voice was different from Kilteth's. Deeper, angrier. I am Varthan, commander of the collection fleet. You have made a grave mistake. I'm activating the self-destruct systems on all ships. You will die in space. Your primitive world will never know what happened to you. Alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed. Dohyun's screen showed a countdown. 30 minutes until the ship exploded. 29 minutes until destruction. Dohyun's hands moved faster than they ever had in his life. Lines of alien code scrolled across the screen. Sora worked beside him, calling out patterns she recognized. Behind them, other humans watched in silent terror. The self-destruct is built into the ship's core, Dohyun said. It's a safety measure. If pirates take a Veltari ship, the captain can destroy it remotely. But there has to be a way to stop it. Found something, Sora said. She pointed at a sequence of symbols. This looks like an override code, but it needs authorization from the ship's captain. Dohyun looked at Kilteth. The alien commander sat in his chair, hands still tied. His big eyes watched the countdown timer. You're the captain. Give us the code. No, Kilteth said simply. Better that we all die than let primitives keep our ships. Varthan is right. We cannot allow your species to have this technology. Junho grabbed Kilteth and pulled him close. 50,000 humans will die. Your crew will die. You will die. Give us the code! No, 25 minutes left. Dohyun felt sweat run down his face. Think, there had to be another way. He looked at the code again. The override needed authorization. But authorization was just data. Just information. And information could be copied or faked. Sora, remember when we faked the genetic signatures? Can we do the same with the captain's authorization? Maybe, Sora said. But a genetic signature is just skin cells. Authorization might be more complex. Brain patterns, memories, things we can't copy. Taeyang ran into the bridge. I've been studying the Veltari biology. Their brains work differently than ours. They share thoughts through electromagnetic signals. That's how they talk to us without speaking. The authorization probably uses those same signals. Can we copy those? Minji asked. No, Taeyang said. But maybe we don't need to. Maybe we can jam the signal. If the ship can't verify the authorization, it might default to a safe mode. 20 minutes. Dohyun made a decision. Do it. Jam all electromagnetic signals. It might stop the countdown or it might blow us up faster. But we're out of options. Taeyang ran to the communications room. Hyaron was there, still sending messages to other ships. I need to send out a massive electromagnetic pulse, Taeyang told her. It will knock out all wireless signals on the ship. That includes our communication with the other ships, Hyaron said. I know. But if we don't do this, there won't be any other ships. They all have the same countdown. Hyaron stepped aside. Do it. Taeyang worked fast. He found the ship's communication array and reversed its function. Instead of sending messages out, it would send energy in all directions. A pulse that would scramble every signal. He activated it. The ship's lights flickered. Screens went dark. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the lights came back on. The screens reactivated. But the countdown had stopped. 15 minutes and 37 seconds, frozen. Do-hyun laughed. It was the sound of relief and disbelief mixed together. It worked. The ship can't verify the self-destruct command without the authorization signal. So it paused the countdown. But for how long? Junho asked. I don't know, Do-hyun admitted. We need to completely disable the self-destruct. And we need to do it on all 15 ships. Sora was already working. I'm sending the jamming instructions to every ship. If they all do what we did, they'll all freeze their countdowns. Then we can work on permanently disabling them. Over the next hour, one by one, the ships reported success. The countdowns were frozen. 50,000 humans were safe. For now, but Varthan was not finished. His ship, Collector 1, began moving toward the others. Sensors showed it was charging weapons. The fleet commander was going to destroy the captured ships himself. He's going to shoot us, Minji said. Junho studied the sensor display. 1 ship against 15. We have more firepower. But do we know how to use the weapons? I'm learning, Do-hyun said. He had found the weapons control system. It was complex but followed logical patterns. Target selection. Power levels. Fire control. Like a video game but real. If I can figure this out, we can fight back. A new voice came through the speakers. It was from another ship. This is Collector 7. We have weapons online. We're moving to intercept Collector 1. All ships form a defensive formation. More voices joined in. Humans on different ships were learning the systems, working together, forming a plan. Do-hyun felt a surge of pride. 50,000 people had been taken from Earth. 50,000 different lives. But now they were united. One purpose, survival. Collector 1 fired first. A beam of energy shot across space and hit Collector 7. The ship's shields held, but the impact made it spin. Alarm sounded. Return fire, Junho ordered. We can't let him pick us off one by one. Do-hyun aimed the weapons at Collector 1. His finger hesitated over the fire control. If he did this, he would be attacking another ship. People would die. Feltari people. They were the enemy, but they were still living beings. Do it, Minji said quietly. She had moved next to him. They took us. They were going to sell us. They tried to blow us up. This is self-defense. Do-hyun pressed the control. Energy weapons from 5 ships fired at once, hitting Collector 1 from different angles. The fleet command ship's shields flickered and failed. Explosions blossomed along its hull. The ship began to drift, disabled but not destroyed. Hold fire, Junho said. We're not killers. We defend ourselves, but we don't murder. Hyaron sent a message to Collector 1. Varthan, your ship is disabled. Your fleet is gone. Surrender and we'll let you live. Keep fighting and we'll destroy you. No response came. Minutes passed. Then a small craft launched from Collector 1. An escape pod. Varthan was running. Let him go, Do-hyun said. We have bigger things to worry about. He was right. Now that they controlled the fleet, they needed to figure out what to do next. 15 ships full of humans. Where would they go? What would they do? Sora found something in the ship's database. There's a list here. Locations where the Veltari keep their collected species. Holding facilities. There are thousands of beings imprisoned there. Different species from different worlds. Then that's where we go, Junho said. We free them all. But first they needed to learn more. Do-hyun spent days studying the Veltari database. He found information about the galaxy. There were 43 known intelligent species. Most of them belonged to something called the Conquered, a loose alliance for trade and cooperation. The Veltari were part of the Conquered, but they operated on the edges of the law. They collected species that were not yet spacefaring. Primitive worlds. It was illegal, but the Conquered did not enforce the law strongly. The Veltari were powerful and no one wanted to start a war. So the whole galaxy knows about this, Minji said angrily. They know the Veltari are taking people and they do nothing? Politics, Junho said. Same as on Earth. The powerful do what they want and the weak suffer. Not anymore, Do-hyun said. We're not weak. We have ships. We have weapons. And we're going to make the galaxy pay attention. They set course for the nearest Veltari holding facility. It was a station in deep space orbiting a dead star. According to the database, it held 5,000 beings from 12 different species. The journey took 3 weeks. During that time, the humans learned everything they could about their ships. How to fly them, how to maintain them, how to fight with them. Junho organized training groups. Minji set up a medical system. Hyerin started teaching people the Veltari language. Taeyang studied the ship's biology systems and life support. Sora became the expert on ship computers. She could hack any system on the vessel. She taught others how to do it too. A 19-year-old gamer from Seoul was now teaching 50,000 people how to control alien technology. When they arrived at the holding facility, they sent a simple message. Release all prisoners. Shut down your operation, or we will destroy this station. The station's response was predictable. You cannot threaten a Veltari facility. We are protected by law. Leave immediately or face consequences, Do-hyun smiled. He had expected this. Consequences? Like what you'll do to us. We're already free, and we're about to free everyone else. The 15 human-controlled ships surrounded the station. They powered up their weapons. The station's commander panicked. He sent a distress call to Veltari space. Help was coming, but it would take days to arrive. You have 1 hour, Junho said. Release the prisoners or we start shooting. Inside the station, confusion reigned. The Veltari guards had never faced anything like this. Their prisoners were supposed to be helpless, scared, controlled. But these ships were different. These ships were full of humans who had already proven they could win. 45 minutes later, escape pods began launching from the station. Hundreds of them. Inside were beings of all shapes and sizes. Some walked on 2 legs. Some had 4 legs or 6. Some had fur. Some had scales. All of them had been prisoners. All of them were now free. The human ships opened their cargo bays and brought the escape pods aboard. Minji and her medical teams were ready. They did not know alien biology, but they could tell when someone was hurt or sick. They helped everyone they could. One of the freed beings was small with blue skin and 4 eyes. It spoke in a language no one understood. But Hyerin listened carefully. She compared the sounds to the Veltari language database. After a few minutes, she managed basic communication. What is your name? She asked. Kilseth, the being said. I am Veltari. But not the freed prisoners came from 12 different species. Each group needed different things. Different food. Different air mixtures. Different temperatures. The human ships were not designed for such variety, but humans were good at solving problems. Taeyang worked with teams to modify sections of each ship. They created zones with different environments. It was not perfect, but it worked. The prisoners were free and they were alive. That was what mattered. Kilseth became an important ally. As a Veltari, he understood the Empire's systems and culture. He taught the humans about galactic politics, about the Conquered, about the various species and their relationships. The Concord was formed 3,000 years ago. Kilseth explained to a group including Do-hyun, Junho, and Minji, after a series of terrible wars. The idea was simple. Species would work together, trade, share knowledge, prevent conflicts. But they allow the Veltari to take people, Minji said. That doesn't sound like preventing conflicts. The rule is complicated, Kilseth admitted. The Conquered only protect species that can travel between stars. If a species is still trapped on their home world, they are not considered part of the galactic community. They can be studied, collected. It is a bad law. Many species disagree with it. But changing it would require all Concord members to agree. So Earth isn't protected, Do-hyun said. Because we can't travel to other stars yet. Exactly. To the Conquered, Earth is not a real civilization. You are primitives, animals. The Veltari broke no laws by taking you. Junho's jaw tightened. Then we need to change their minds. Show them that humans are not primitives. Over the following weeks, the fleet moved from one Veltari facility to another. Each time they freed more prisoners. The numbers grew. 10,000 freed beings. 20,000. 30,000. The ships were becoming crowded, but no one complained. Freedom was worth any discomfort. Word spread through the galaxy. The Veltari Empire sent messages to the conquered demanding help. Pirates have stolen our ships. They are freeing dangerous prisoners. They threaten galactic stability. But the truth also spread. The prisoners told their stories. How they had been taken. How they had been treated. Species across the galaxy heard about the humans who fought back and won, who freed not just themselves but everyone they could reach. A Concord patrol encountered the human fleet near a freed facility. The patrol consisted of 3 ships from different species. They sent a cautious message. Unknown vessels, this is Concord Patrol Group 73. Identify yourselves, Doyun responded. This is the Human Liberation Fleet. We are from Earth. We were illegally captured by the Veltari. We freed ourselves and we are freeing others. We are not pirates. We are not criminals. We are survivors. There was a long pause. Then the Concord patrol leader spoke. Her species was called the Rilthan. She had 4 arms like the Veltari, but her skin was green instead of gray. Her voice was cautious but not hostile. Humans, we have heard rumors. You took 15 Veltari collection ships, freed thousands of prisoners. Is this true? It's true, Junho said, joining the conversation. The Veltari took 50,000 humans from Earth while we slept. They planned to sell us as slaves. We woke up. We fought back, we won. Now we're making sure they can never do this again. The Veltari claim you are dangerous. That you attack without provocation. We attack prison facilities, Minji cut in. We free prisoners. If that makes us dangerous, then yes, we are dangerous. But only to those who profit from slavery. Another pause. The Concord patrol ships did not move closer, but they did not leave either. Finally, the Rilthan spoke again. We would like to meet with you. Face to face. Not in ships, but as beings. Will you agree to this? The humans discussed it. It could be a trap. But it could also be an opportunity. A chance to tell their story to the wider galaxy. To make first contact the right way. Not as primitives being collected, but as equals. They agreed. A shuttle was arranged. Dohyun, Junho, Minji, Hyeren, and Kilseth would represent the humans. They brought no weapons. This was a meeting of diplomacy, not war. The Concord patrol ship was beautiful inside. Curved walls. Soft lights. Plants from a dozen worlds. It felt peaceful. The Rilthan commander met them in a large room with windows showing the stars. Her name was Thessa. You are smaller than I expected, Thessa said, studying the humans. The report said you defeated Veltari warriors. But you look so fragile, Junho smiled. Looks can deceive. Humans are stronger than we appear. More stubborn, too. We don't quit easily. They sat together at a round table. Well, the humans sat. Thessa stood on her 4 legs. She asked questions. About Earth, about the capture, about the escape. The humans answered honestly. They showed her evidence. Videos from the ship's systems. Testimonies from freed prisoners. Thessa listened to everything. Her face was hard to read, but her body language showed interest, maybe even concern. What you describe is disturbing, she finally said. The Veltari have always claimed their collection programs are scientific, that they treat their subjects well, that no harm is done. They lied, Minji said. We saw the facilities. Beings kept in cages, families separated, children crying for parents they would never see again. That's not science. That's cruelty. I believe you, Thessa said quietly. But belief is not enough. The Conquered operates on law and evidence. You have given me evidence. But you have also committed acts that concern the Conquered. You took Veltari ships. You attacked their facilities. You freed prisoners without authorization. Authorization from who? Hyeren asked. The people keeping them prisoner? Why would they authorize their own prisoners to go free? A fair point, Thessa admitted. The law is flawed. Many of us know this. But changing it is difficult. The Veltari are powerful.
They have allies.
They control important trade routes. Dohyun leaned forward. Then let us help you change it. We're not asking for much. Just recognition that Earth is a civilization. That humans deserve the same rights as any other species. Protect us from future collections. Help us take our people home safely. And if we cannot promise this, Thessa asked, Junho's voice was firm, then we'll continue doing what we're doing. We'll free every prisoner we can find. We'll disrupt every Veltari operation. And eventually, we'll go to Veltari space itself. We'll end this program whether the Conquered helps us or not. Thessa studied them for a long moment. Then she made a sound like a sigh. You remind me of my own people. Long ago, the Rilthan were collected by a different empire. We fought back. We won our freedom, but it took generations. It cost millions of lives. I do not wish that fate on you. Then help us, Minji said. You know what it's like. You understand. I will do what I can, Thessa said. I will report your situation to the Concord Council. I will advocate for you, but I cannot promise success. Politics moves slowly. The Veltari will fight any changes. How long will it take? Do-hyun asked. Months. Perhaps years. The humans looked at each other. Years. Earth would think they were dead. Their families would mourn. Life would go on without them. But if they went home now, the Veltari might follow. Might take more people. The cycle would continue. We can wait months, Junho decided, but not years. Give us 6 months. If the Concord hasn't acted by then, we'll take more drastic measures. Thessa agreed. She gave them coordinates for a safe sector of space, a place where they could gather their fleet without being attacked. The Concord would send supplies, food, medicine, parts for repairing the ships. In return, the humans would stop their attacks and wait for diplomacy to work. The fleet moved to the designated sector. It was near a nebula, colorful clouds of gas that stretched across space, beautiful and isolated. They set up a temporary base. Ships arranged in a defensive formation. Life support systems linked together. The waiting began. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The humans used the time well. They learned more about their ships, about galactic culture, about the different species they had freed. A young woman named Bora became important during this time. She was only 19. Her parents had been taken with her, but they died when the ship they were on was attacked by the Veltari, trying to retake it. Bora had lost everything, but instead of breaking, she became stronger. She learned to pilot the ships, to fight, to lead. Junyo saw potential in her and trained her personally. Other young humans followed her example. A new generation was growing up not on Earth but in space. They were becoming something different. Still human, but also something more. Kilseth worked with Hyeron to create a translation system, something that could help all the different species communicate. It was not perfect, but it helped. The freed prisoners began to organize themselves. They wanted to help fight the Veltari, to free their own people still imprisoned. Minji and Taeyang had fallen in love during the journey. They married in a simple ceremony on one of the ships. It was the first human wedding in space. People from a dozen species attended. It was a moment of joy in the middle of chaos, a reminder that life continued even in the darkest times. Do-hyun continued to lead, but the weight of responsibility was heavy. He missed his apartment, his quiet life, his computer and his code. Sometimes he wondered what his old co-workers thought. Did they notice he was gone? The Veltari Empire did not accept the Concord's investigation quietly. They called it an insult, an attack on their sovereignty. They claimed the humans were pirates and terrorists, that the freed prisoners were dangerous criminals, but the evidence was too strong. Video recordings, testimonies from dozens of species, medical reports showing abuse and neglect. The Concord could not ignore it. They demanded that the Veltari shut down all collection operations immediately and release all prisoners. The Veltari refused. Instead, they withdrew from the Concord. They declared that they would govern themselves, that no outside force could tell them what to do with primitive species. They're going to fight, Kilseth warned. The Veltari military is mobilizing. They see this as an existential threat. If they stop collecting, their economy collapses. Too much of their wealth comes from selling slaves. Junho studied the intelligence reports. The Veltari had over 200 warships. The human fleet had 15 captured collection vessels plus a few smaller craft they had taken from facilities. The math was simple. If the Veltari attacked with everything they had, the humans would lose. We can't win a direct war, Minji said at the strategy meeting. We don't have enough ships or weapons. Then we don't fight a direct war, Do-hyun said. He had been thinking about this for weeks. We fight the way humans have always fought when we're outnumbered. We use our brains. We use surprise. We use the fact that they still underestimate us. Bora had an idea. What if we don't attack their military? What if we attack their operations, their facilities, their supply lines? Make it too expensive for them to continue. Guerrilla warfare, Junho said with approval. Hit-and-run tactics. Strike where they're weak. Disappear before they can respond? Yes, that could work. But before they could implement any plan, the Veltari made the first move. A fleet of 30 warships appeared at the edge of the nebula. They sent a message on all channels. Human vessels, this is the Veltari Defense Fleet. You have violated our territory. You have stolen our property. You have spread lies about our civilization. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Do-hyun looked at the sensor readings, 30 ships against 15. And the Veltari warships were bigger, more heavily armed. This was not a fight they could win through force. We need to talk to them, Hyerin said. Buy time. Make them hesitate. Talk won't work, Junho argued. They came here to fight. Maybe, but let's try anyway. Do-hyun opened a channel to the Veltari fleet. This is Do-hyun of Earth. We don't want war. We want justice. You took 50,000 humans from our world. You took millions of beings from other worlds. That ends now, the Veltari commander responded. His name was Sektar. His voice in their heads was filled with contempt. You are primitives. You have no right to demand anything. You will return our ships and surrender yourselves for punishment. We're not primitives, Minji said, joining the channel. We're human, and humans don't surrender to bullies. Then you will die, Sektar said simply. The Veltari ships began to advance, weapons charging. This was it. The moment of truth. Fight or run. But then something unexpected happened. The freed prisoners from the 12 species gathered in the cargo bay of Do-hyun's ship sent their own message. It was broadcast on every channel, every frequency. We are the freed slaves of the Veltari Empire. Humans saved us. Humans gave us hope. Now we stand with them. If you attack the humans, you attack all of us, and we will fight back. Suddenly, other ships appeared on sensors, small craft, personal vessels, ships belonging to the freed prisoners who had contacted their home worlds. They came to help. Dozens of them. Not military ships, just civilians who believed in the cause. The Veltari fleet paused. Sektar had not expected this. He had come to destroy pirates, but now he faced an alliance. Humans and aliens working together. And if he attacked, he would start a war not just with humans but with 12 other species. This changes nothing, Sektar declared. You are all criminals. All will be destroyed. But Do-hyun saw the hesitation. The Veltari had always relied on being stronger than their opponents. They collected primitives who could not fight back. They had never faced real resistance, and now they were outnumbered. Attack us and the whole galaxy will see, Do-hyun said. The conquered is watching. Every species is watching. If you destroy unarmed civilians, you prove everything we've said about you is true. Sektar did not respond immediately. Do-hyun knew he was consulting with his superiors, making calculations. The Veltari Empire was already facing sanctions from the conquered. If they committed an obvious massacre, those sanctions would become worse. Finally, Sektar spoke again. We will not attack today, but this is not over. The Veltari Empire will not tolerate your interference. We will find another way to deal with you. The fleet withdrew. The humans and their allies had won without firing a shot. But Do-hyun knew it was temporary. The Veltari would return with a different plan. A more careful approach. We bought ourselves time, Junho said. Now we use it. Kilseth had been working on something in secret. A network of Veltari who opposed their empire's policies. Dissidents, rebels. People who believed the collection program was wrong but were too afraid to speak up. I have made contact with them, Kilseth revealed. There are hundreds of us, maybe thousands. We want change, but we need help. We need proof that change is possible. What kind of proof? Minji asked. Show the Veltari people what their empire really does. Not propaganda, truth, images, stories. Make them see the reality. Hyerin immediately understood. An information campaign. We broadcast the truth directly to the Veltari homeworld. Show them the facilities. The prisoners. The suffering. Force them to confront what their society is built on. It was risky. Broadcasting anything to Veltari space meant getting close to their territory. But it might work. Not all Veltari were evil. Some might be horrified to learn the truth. Some might demand change. They spent 2 weeks preparing, collecting videos, testimonies from freed prisoners, evidence of abuse. Hyerin worked with Kilseth to translate everything into the Veltari language. They created a message that was clear and powerful. Then they moved the fleet toward Veltari space. Not to attack, just to get close enough to broadcast. The Veltari military responded immediately. Ships moved to intercept, but the human fleet split up. Smaller, faster vessels scattered in different directions. The military could not chase all of them. One ship, piloted by Bora, managed to get close enough. She activated the broadcast system. The message went out on every civilian channel, every frequency used by Veltari homes and businesses. People of the Veltari Empire, this is the truth about your collection program. The broadcast showed everything. The prison facilities, the cages, the families torn apart, children crying, adults broken by years of captivity, and it showed the humans, beings the Veltari had called primitives and animals. But the humans in the video were clearly intelligent, clearly feeling. Clearly people here and spoke directly to the Veltari citizens. Your empire told you that collection was necessary, that it was scientific, that the beings taken were barely sentient. Look at these images. Look at these faces. Are we animals? Are we things to be sold? Or are we people just like you? The broadcast lasted 10 minutes before the military shut it down. But 10 minutes was enough. Millions of Veltari saw it, heard it, and many of them were disturbed by what they learned. Kilseth's network of dissidents began to grow. Protests started on several Veltari worlds. Young Veltari especially were upset. They had grown up believing their empire was noble and good. Learning the truth shook them. The Veltari government tried to suppress the protests. They claimed the broadcast was fake, propaganda created by enemies. But the evidence was too strong, too detailed, too real. Within a month, the Veltari Empire was in chaos. The military wanted to crush the protests. The civilian government wanted to negotiate. The dissidents wanted immediate change. Society was fracturing. A young Veltari officer named Rethal contacted the human fleet. I am a captain in the Veltari Defense Fleet. I have seen your broadcasts. I believe you. Many of us do. We want to help end the collection program, but we need your help to stop the military hardliners. It was the break they needed. Not all Veltari supported the Empire's actions. Some were willing to fight for change from the inside. Doyen worked with Rethal to coordinate. The dissident Veltari would sabotage military operations. The humans would continue freeing prisoners and spreading the truth. The conflict escalated. Veltari military ships attacked Veltari civilian ships that supported the dissidents. It became a civil war. Brother fighting brother. The Empire was tearing itself apart. The Concord tried to mediate. They sent peacekeepers. They called for both sides to negotiate. But the military hardliners refused. They believed surrender was weakness. They would rather see the Empire burn than admit they were wrong. Junho led a strike team to a major Veltari military base. Their goal was not to destroy it, but to capture it intact. To take control of the base's communication system and use it to broadcast even more truth. The battle was fierce. Veltari 9 months had passed since that night Doyun went to sleep naked in his Seoul apartment. 9 months since he woke up in an alien tube. 9 months that changed everything. The human fleet finally prepared to return to Earth. 15 ships full of people who had been taken from their beds. People who had been called primitives. People who had been marked for slavery. But they were going home as heroes. As liberators. As proof that humanity deserved a place among the stars. The Concord provided an escort. Ships from a dozen species accompanied them on the journey back to Earth. It was not just protection. It was an honor guard. A sign of respect. Do-hyun stood on the bridge of his ship as Earth came into view. That small blue planet. So beautiful. So fragile. Home. He felt tears in his eyes. He had not been sure he would ever see it again. Earth Traffic Control, this is the Human Liberation Fleet, higher in broadcast. We are 50,000 humans returning home. We have much to tell you. The response was chaos. Earth's governments had no idea what to do. 50,000 people had disappeared 9 months ago, taken without warning. Every country had been searching. Theories ranged from mass kidnapping to terrorist attacks, but no one had considered aliens. Now those 50,000 people were returning. In alien ships. With an alien escort, the world stopped to watch. The fleet landed in a desert area that the United Nations quickly secured. Military forces surrounded the landing site, but they did not attack. How could they? The alien ships were too advanced. And besides, the people inside were human. Do-hyun was among the first to step off the ship. His feet touched Earth soil for the first time in 9 months. It felt strange. Too solid. Too stable. He had gotten used to the gentle movement of the ship. Cameras from every news organization on Earth recorded everything. The whole world was watching. Do-hyun saw the reporters, the soldiers, the officials in suits, all of them staring at the humans and the aliens walking together. Tessa stepped forward. Her 4 legs moved gracefully. Her green skin reflected the sunlight. She spoke through a translation device. People of Earth, I am Tessa of the Rilthan species. I represent the conquered, an alliance of 43 civilizations. We come in peace. We come to welcome humanity to the galaxy. The Earth officials did not know how to respond. First contact with aliens was supposed to be carefully planned. There were protocols, procedures, but none of them involved aliens arriving with 50,000 kidnapped humans. Junho stepped forward next. My name is Junho. I was taken from my home in Daegu 9 months ago. We all were. An alien empire called the Veltari abducted us while we slept. They planned to sell us as slaves. But we fought back, we won, and with help from good people across the galaxy, we ended their slave trade forever. The story came out slowly over the following weeks. The humans told everything. The abduction, the awakening, the escape, the battles, the freed prisoners, the civil war, all of it. Earth was stunned. Humanity was not alone in the universe. And the first contact had not been peaceful. It had been an attack, an attempted enslavement, but humans had won. Primitives with no space technology had defeated an empire that had existed for thousands of years. The world did not know whether to be terrified or proud. Both probably. The 50,000 returnees became instant celebrities. Everyone wanted to hear their stories. But more importantly, they brought back technology. Alien computers, weapons, medicine, ships. Knowledge that would advance Earth's civilization by centuries. Do-hyun found his apartment exactly as he had left it. His computer was still on his desk. His bed was still unmade. The coffee cup from his last night on Earth sat in the sink, now covered in mold. He stood in his bedroom and looked at the bed where it had all started. The bed where he had slept naked, unaware that his life was about to change forever. Part of him wanted everything to go back to normal, to sit at his computer and write code, to live his quiet life. But that life was gone. He was different now. The world was different now. His phone rang. It still worked, though he had not paid the bill in 9 months. It was his mother. She had seen him on the news. She was crying and laughing at the same time. I thought you were dead. We all thought you were dead. But you're alive. You're home. They talked for hours. Do-hyun told her everything. About the fear and the fighting. About the friends he had made. About the galaxy and all its wonders. His mother listened, amazed and proud. My son, she said. My little boy who just wanted to write computer programs. Now you're a hero, a leader. I don't know whether to hug you or bow to you. Just hug me, Do-hyun said. I'm still your son. I'm still me, but that was not entirely true. He had changed. They all had. The United Nations created a new organization, the Earth Space Council. Its job was to work with the Concord, to represent humanity in galactic affairs. They asked Do-hyun to lead it. He accepted, though he never wanted to be a leader. But someone had to do it. Someone who understood both Earth and the galaxy. Minji and Taeyang opened the first Earth-conquered medical center. They combined human and alien medicine to create treatments for diseases that had never been cured before. Patients came from all over Earth, and alien patients came too. The center became a symbol of cooperation. Hyerin became Earth's chief translator and cultural liaison. She taught humans about alien species. She taught aliens about human culture. She built bridges between worlds with words. Junho founded the Earth Space Defense Academy. He trained humans to protect their world, not just from external threats but from the kind of thinking that allowed the Veltari to exist for so long. We must be strong, he taught, but we must also be just. Strength without justice is tyranny. Sora became one of Earth's leading technology experts. She reverse-engineered alien systems and adapted them for human use. At 20 years old, she was changing the world. She designed the interface for Earth's first true spacecraft, ships built by humans using knowledge from the stars. Bora took command of one of those ships. The first human-built starship was named Liberation, in honor of what they had all been through. Bora was its captain, a young woman who had lost her parents but found a new purpose. She led humanity's first exploration mission to a nearby star system. Kilseth stayed on Earth as the Veltari representative. He helped his people learn from their mistakes. The new Veltari government was trying to make amends. They returned every being they had ever taken. They paid reparations. They opened their records to show the full extent of their crimes. It would take generations to heal the damage, but they were trying. 5 years passed. Earth developed faster than anyone predicted. Humans learned quickly. They adapted alien technology. They improved on it. They created new things that even the conquered had never imagined. The galaxy learned that humans were not just fighters. They were innovators, creators, dreamers. The Concord granted Earth full membership. Humanity was no longer a primitive species. They were equals, partners in the great community of civilizations. Do-hyun attended the ceremony on the conquered homeworld. He stood before representatives from 43 species. He gave a speech that was broadcast across the galaxy. 5 years ago, I went to sleep in my bed. I was naked and vulnerable. I woke up a prisoner. I thought my life was over, but it was just beginning. Humanity was tested in a way we never expected. We were taken, enslaved, marked as primitives. But we proved something important. We proved that intelligence is not measured by technology alone. It is measured by adaptability, by determination, by the refusal to give up even when everything seems hopeless. He paused and looked at the assembled beings. So many different forms, so many different worlds, but all of them were listening. Humanity thanks the conquered for accepting us, for helping us, for giving us a chance. But we also have a warning. Never judge a species by their tools. Never assume that being less advanced means being less capable. And never ever underestimate someone who has been pushed to their limit, because that is when you will see what they are truly capable of. The species applauded in their various ways. Some clapped like humans. Some made sounds. Some flashed lights. It was beautiful chaos. A celebration of diversity. After the ceremony, Thessa found Do-hyun. You have done well. Your species has done well. We are proud to call humans our allies. Thank you, Do-hyun said, for everything. For believing us. For helping us. We could not have done this alone. Perhaps not, Thessa said. But you did the hard part. You fought when you could have given up. You united when you could have fractured. You showed mercy when you could have taken revenge. Those are the qualities of a great civilization. That night, Do-hyun returned to Earth. He went back to his apartment in Seoul. He had kept it even though he spent most of his time at the Space Council headquarters now. It was important to have a place that was just his. A connection to his old life. He looked at his bed. That same bed where it all began. He smiled and shook his head. He had learned his lesson. He put on pajamas before getting into bed. He was not taking any chances with waking up naked somewhere strange again, but sleep did not come easily. His mind was too active, too full of memories. He thought about Junho and Minji and Hyerin and Sora and Bora and all the others.